Oh my God, by a factor of many times, I have spent more money on Ava merchandise than I ever made working on the show. A lot more. It's really an illness. So, do you guys have questions or comments or anything that you wanted to throw out there? I don't really know what the form is for this. There's a duck. Green, and it goes with the napkin. There we go. It does.
No one has any questions. Has anyone here seen Ava?
Everybody's seen Ava. Okay.
Recently got back into my Ava series.
Excellent. So you just recently watched Disney? I have a question. Oh, you have a question. I have a question first before your question. Has anybody here watched like the whole Ava series in, let's say, a time frame of less than 48 hours? Has anybody ever done that? Oh, wow. You people are really sick. I just like to do that. I've had so many people tell me that they've done that. And plus the movies, still the same number of hands. Oh, that's bad. Okay, you had like a real question.
What was your favorite scene out of Eva?
My favorite scene. I like a lot of the early episodes with Asuka that were really fun. Like, just even the first one, like Asuka Strikes, when she's jumping across the ships, you know, like playing hopscotch on the decks of all of the ships. I thought that was awesome. The both of you dance like you want to win when they're actually doing it, not the training, but when they're actually like doing the in unison fighting. Very awesome. I liked it a lot. You have a favorite one?
There's a couple. I mean, mostly what I really liked about Ava was the character stuff. There was just when Kaji first appears in the series.
Kaji.
Yeah. And he's making all the comments about Misato, and the kids are all like, and she's just doing the.
Oh, that scene is fantastic.
That was wonderful. Because like, yeah, how can you introduce a character better than that? Where it's obviously this huge history.
And he's talking about sleeping with her because he knows that Asuka and Shinji live with her now. And he's like, oh yeah, does she still do that? You know, when she's sleeping? And they're, oh no, you didn't. Oh yes, she did.
Another classic scene.
You know what? Let me apologize that I have food here, but if I don't eat this now, then it will be very cold, and I had no break between 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock, so I'm sorry that I have to eat.
You're eating my favorite dish from Perkins. So.
You can continue, and then I have a good Perkins story for you.
Okay. But then I have 2 other scenes I would consider, and then the third one is the infamous beer can to toothpick scene.
Oh yes, where Shinji is naked. Yeah. That is awesome.
That's a fantastic one. And then just on the other end, the whole first scene in Ray's apartment is just plain ass creepy. And I think that's when the show really, up until that point, it was like it wasn't sure what's going on. Also, at that point, it went, whoa, over into there's something odd going on here. So I'd say those would be the 3.
Okay.
But you know.
I'll save my Perkins story in case anybody doesn't come up with questions. Go ahead.
Will there be any sock puppet shorts on the next Ava release?
I can't tell you.
I don't know because I don't know who's going to produce it, so we'll have to wait and see. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Funimation's releasing Rebuild, the first movie, and no one knows who's going to release the second movie yet, so I didn't get a chance to work on it. I volunteered. But there seems to be this ongoing thing that the character of Hugo will be played by whoever is the company executive of whichever company is releasing it. Because
something like that.
I did it in the TV series and the director's cut, and Keith Burgess did it for the movies for his manga, and with the new one, Mike McFarlane is doing. So,
and the AV units.
And the AV units, which is the other thing I did, right? Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people don't know that Matt was the voice of the AVA units in the TV series. That was a Persian doing that. So.
Which was following the Japanese, because in the Japanese version, the voice actor for Hugo was also the voice of the AVA unit, so we went consistently across the board.
Yeah. You had a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, there was a They said Ava in the movies.
Oh, I know what your question
different.
is now.
Is there any real reason for that, or?
You mean why Amanda wanted to say?
Eva in the movie and Ava in the series.
Because Amanda wanted to, and she was the director, and so the director tells you to say it a certain way. It's like, well, you know, we said it this other way for 26 episodes, but she was the director, so.
I think a lot of it was simply, this is just supposition, but the fact is the first movie is nothing but basically scenes from the TV series cut together. And I think that it was like, well, we want to make sure people don't think it's the same exact thing over again. So if we do it slightly different, then people will know, oh, well, it's not the same dialogue, even though it's the same footage.
Right, like I know, for example, there's a scene that's in Death and Rebirth that is directly from the series where the dialogue was changed, and it was the, hey, why the gloomy face? That one, you should appreciate your good fortune. The dialogue was changed slightly on that, so. I just read the lines they give me. Yay. And there were a couple of places on End of Ava where Amanda would just put a note in the script like, Tiffany, curse in German here. So that was pretty cool. Yes?
I just have a question, just because of when I think of the character of Asuka, I see her as just this tortured girl, and just because of her backstory stuff. And I just wonder, what did you have to do to like get you ready for that once you like realize what her character is, and just like some of her like what I call like defense mechanisms that she puts up? I mean,
She didn't have to prepare for it.
No, I don't know. I just found Asuka. I mean, she was just in there. I just pulled her out.
It was funny when we were casting Ava. We were going through all the voice actors we've gone through, and of course we're casting off the first couple of episodes to begin with, so Asuka's not in there. So we're doing this, and people are like, well, blah, 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 blah. Oh, well, you know, we don't want to listen to Tiffany for this because Tiffany's going to be Asuka, right? I mean, everyone just assumed Tiffany would be Asuka because everyone knew Tiffany was like, Tiffany? Asuka? Yeah, there's a...
Yeah, I didn't ever audition for it. I think almost every other person auditioned
Everyone else auditioned, right?
for the roles in that show, but I didn't audition.
But I mean, literally everybody. It was like, okay, everybody assumes Tiffany is playing Asuka. I think it means everyone pretty much agrees that. But she was a real pain about it because she knew we were doing this show and she knew it was big. And
I knew they were working on some big show, and back in the day, now somebody a minute ago had a Golden Boy VHS cover. Back in those days when we were recording Ava, what you have to know is that it was being released on videotape, where there was 2 episodes per videotape. So that's how it would be recorded. It was recorded 2 episodes at a time. So Asuka doesn't come until episode 8. So there's volume 1, and I'm not in it, and volume 2, and I'm not in it, and volume 3, and I'm not in it. And I started, and he was telling me, oh, no, your character's going to be in the show. And he's trying to tell me, like, oh, it's a major character and everything. I'm like, really? Because, you know, you've already been working on it for, like, 6 months, and I haven't done anything. When I was asking him, couldn't I do, you know, some background voices or something like that? No, you can't. And so then finally I got to work on it, and then I understood. Then I understood why I hadn't gotten to work on it before and why I couldn't do background characters, even though Spike Spencer has a background character in one of the early episodes where he's encouraging you to vote for so-and-so because he doesn't urinate through his skin like a shark.
That's not in Ava.
No?
No, that's in Golden Boy.
That's in Golden Boy?
That's in Golden Boy.
This is how old I am.
It's in Golden Boy.
That was like 13 years ago. I don't remember.
Spike did have a background line. There's that one episode in the movie theater, and everybody who was in the cast was doing the characters in the movie with crazy accents and things. Where the movie that they're watching the scene. It's when Shinji's wandering around Tokyo. He's in the movie theater, and the people on the screen. It's Tristan, Spike, and I think Amanda doing the voice of these characters in a movie, reenacting what happened in Second Impact.